What's goody? It's your boy, and we here with another episode of Concerts Without Sound, which is a series that is unique to this channel where I'm going to be reviewing videos and footage of live concerts without the sound. And this is because I want you to remove yourself emotionally away from the concert and understand what it's like as a musician, truly, to view and experience a concert. So let's take a look at today's show, which is Tech 9 at the 2023 Smokefest. Now, this one is interesting and unique to me because I've learned about Tech 9 later in life, but I've always heard of him, which was interesting enough. Like, he's always been around, right? But when you really delve into his music, you start to really see the difference in standards of today's music. So let's take a look. So here, the show opens with Ticketer, the song off of his latest album, Asinine. Now, the song, it opens up with a warning. It sounds like a public service announcement, and then it comes in with like this hard kick of just mean 808 bass. Now, that's going to be something that you're not necessarily, gonna be surprised with if you're a hip hop fan, but this is something that's unique to our genre today because everybody's music at the time currently is more melodic. It's very musical. A lot of things are happening, but he decided to take a completely different route and to just go for this really, really, really simplistic, minimalistic, but yet loud and powerful, song. Now he's opening up with this song, and it starts off with essentially an a cappella intro, and it begins with him going through most of what would be just rhythmic and rudiment, just straight assassin work, right? He's just killing you with lyricism. But the reason he's able to do that is because a lot of his job is resting upon a very, 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 very comfortable and solid foundation, right? When you break down what he's doing, a lot of the time in his lyrics, he's taking very, very complex rhythms and then he's breaking them down simplistically and he's delivering them back in very creative ways. So he's able to do that because obviously the producer in this particular song has set him up to do certain things a certain way. But Tech 9 has the experience alongside the creativity to be able to think outside of what's normally considered, comfortable in sound. So that's why I prefer him as an artist, but I also prefer and like the fact that he started this uh set like this. Now, the next thing you'll notice is his outfit choice. Obviously, the look is very, very clean. It's very if you're one of the veteran Tech 9 fans, of course, it's not as crazy as it could be. But the choice comes down, in my personal opinion, I think it's going to come down to basically the utility during the show. It's less to worry about. If you're making your own music, if you're making your own shows and you're making your own sets and things like that, you may have very grandiose ideas, but can you really pull it off? And will it be awkward when you do it? So seeing Tech being able to do such complex music in a simple, outfit doesn't really take away from the music because he's able to deliver on it. But it's also an intentional choice because you can see how it's stylized. You can see on the back there's a very, very clear logo. You can see the bat on the front. You can see everything that you need to see to get the branding off. You can see how cool he is because he's still understanding, I need the glasses. Obviously, you don't want bright lights flashing in and out of your face, and it allows you to kind of relax the muscles of your face while having glasses on like that. But to think that the outfit wasn't intentional would be foolish, and to think that the outfit doesn't add to what he's doing would be also foolish. Now, here, this is usually where people get really, really hyped up because they're joining in. But what I loved about Tech's performance here, when you watch the video for yourself, you'll realize that there's no backing track, classic rapper values, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of what he's doing is his point of origin is himself. He's not looking for a beat to drop out. He's not asking the crowd to participate or anything like that. A lot of the things you're going to see him do on his set is going to be coming from himself and is going to be directed by himself. That's a very powerful move to be able to do as a musician, even as a rapper, but a musician in general. Because if you were to remove rap, if you were remove Tech N9ne or remove all the lights, most musicians couldn't get on stage with a backing track by themselves and be able to play an entire set. It would take a little bit more planning, it would take a little bit more assistance, maybe accompaniment, but for somebody to be able to do that, it's pretty impressive, no matter where you stand as far as your level of expertise in this. But the next thing I noticed too is that he does have on the back of the screen there, you'll see the bat, strange music bat back there. That's a logo for Tech N9ne, but that Tech N9ne logo is always going to be branding the show. And I think it's also synced up to the music as well. It's got to be, because this is going to allow the show to be a little more immersive and allow you to really be in tune with him. And going back to him having to perform the show by himself, meaning just, there's features on songs and things like that, and obviously producers or whatever, but when you see entourages of people on stage and they have no part of the song, it's honestly just a visual mess for the audience. It's not something cool to look at. And in all honesty, your audience isn't going to tell you that. They just won't they'll just block it out of their mind when you have 80 people on stage and only 2 people rap or sing or perform. So for him to be on stage by himself, to really maximize on the real estate of the visual real estate on stage, he's chosen to put his logo and to sync it up with the music and things like that. Now, you've seen this before on small scale, where you see like a busker on the street maybe playing guitar, or a singer or a drummer, right? That, and they'll have maybe their Cash App or their logo or even an iPad or something like that showing their information. It's the same process, but here no one wants to read a wall of text, or even though their phone is out recording, nobody wants to go to an app to Cash App you any money like that. So you just keep your logo simple. It's very memorable. It sticks with you in the mind, and it's obviously synced up with the music you're here to enjoy. So these are things that are going to be important. So now, the next thing you're going to have to really pay attention to as an artist is, this is going towards, I would say, the middle of the set by now, right? Usually by now, people's attention spans are starting to dull, and Tech N9ne, if he's the legend that we all know him to be, this set is not going to have dips and basically valleys and peaks. It's not going to have valleys and peaks. It should have, in general, a gradual rise and maybe a climax, or it could just, calm you down towards the end. Because if we're going to open up on Kick It, we basically started the concert on a 10. So we're either going to stay at 10 or we're going to push it up to 11. That's the only way we can really do this, and we can't go down. And you can see here, he's trying to, or he's actually pulling it off pretty well here, is conducting the crowd and getting them into the groove of the movement. They can't even hold their phone still, which is one of the things we as a group of musicians and artists kind of really need to understand and kind of acclimate to, is the fact that people are trying to capture moments and not really live in them anymore. So how would you make your show more memorable for a person, or make it more of a you need to be there type of situation? And a lot of it is, it's gonna be a bit of a learning curve. I don't think we've gotten to that point yet with live shows, because the crowd participation isn't a necessity for the show. A lot of rappers today, you'll see their DJ turning the beat on and off and doing this shit, and then the rappers asking you to do the rapping with them like it's a Subway sandwich of a song, and it's not, because they understand they need the crowd energy to really vibe off of, but they're not getting it because a lot of people in the audience are recording, kind of like what they already paid somebody else to do. So if you can really do things that can make it memorable, which is where you get artists jumping off of stages, or you get people doing mosh pits or just diving off a stage and things like that. That's how people try to make the shows more memorable. But the only downside to doing things like that is that you remove the attention from the music. And if you are an artist where you want the focus to be your music, like an Ed Sheeran or a Taylor Swift, or if you're more of a musically focused artist, the stage presence is going to have to be something that you're going to have to really, really think about. That's something that it's going to be unique to you. Because obviously, N9ne, no matter how much high energy he gives you, he's not going to do a front flip off the stage. Let's be honest. So, how would that have to work for him? It would have to come through ways of emceeing, elite level emceeing, of course, and it's going to have to come through ways of crowd participation that's going to be utilizing this new culture of trying to record and capture moments. And so, as you know, we as musicians, as a group, try to figure this out. This is going to be something that's interesting going into the future. Now, here you see him putting on the moves, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, where you can't be a dead fish on stage, and you also can't be too cool for school either. Like you gotta show some energy and give these people a show, because not only did they pay to see you, but they paid to not be themselves anymore. They paid to be outside of the world they're used to being in, meaning from Monday to Thursday they've been working at their job, and then Friday comes and your show's here and they bought tickets. When they get there, they want to just forget it all. And you got to be able to pull that off consistently, and you got to be able to captivate people. So N9ne is a beast at doing this, and he's honestly, from what I've studied about him I've studied his music for the past 3 years since Planet Pyong, and what I've noticed is he's getting very, very, very focused on delivering exactly how he wants his music to sound and be delivered to you. Because when I got introduced, there was a lot of music videos and things like that that were very theatrical, that when it went to live, it couldn't really translate, because for somebody like me who didn't see the show live or wasn't introduced to the album live, I was consuming it in a different way. So then without the visuals, without the music video, without all the other theatrics that come with making that song really hit, it wasn't really going to translate the same when it got live. But I was able to really connect with Tech because of the emceeing. And that's where he's really taking a lot of his music and wrapping it around that core foundation of just really good hardcore emceeing. And you can see it on stage right here because of how complex the music is compared to what you can visually get from on stage. There's no dancers, ballet flipping in background, dancing with ribbons and flags and things like that. There's a logo, clean rapper. He's the solo focus of the show and the set. And what you're here to focus on is what he's here to deliver, which is really, really elite level emceeing. For many of you artists, you're going to think that when you get on stage, you're supposed to get people in this vibe and make them move out and things like that. But that comes from a crutch mindset that's honestly the belief of fans that think that because you're cool, a lot of the music you're making now should be able to withstand our lack of attention, and it's not. So if you're not interesting and captivating enough, meaning if Tech wasn't such an elite MC, meaning if he started stumbling over his words, or if he started asking you to finish the last lines of his verse all of a sudden, you would be looking away. You wouldn't be keeping your phone up, and you wouldn't buy the albums. You wouldn't come back for music. You would come back for something else. And you know what artist you're thinking of right now, where people go to their concert and they don't really go for the music. Yeah. So let's take another look. And I want you to notice too, there's a lot less phones out right now. And that's not a matter of it being boring and there's nothing to record. It's the fact that the music is starting to really hit for some people, and you can tell. Now, this is also another sign where you can see for a veteran musician whether or not the person performing has the endurance to withstand the show. Right now, he's probably got to be on song number 6 or 7, depending on how long he's going, because of course you're not going to do all 3 verses, 4 choruses, and bridges, right? So now we're probably going towards the end of the set because this is a festival, so there's multiple artists, so he has to be very mindful of time and be very mindful of things like making sure he's getting all of his music out within that allotted time. But in order to be able to do that, how do you pull off all these emotions if you have so much different kinds of music, and how do you keep such high energy all the way through the set? And the way you do that is staying fit and staying healthy. If you pay attention to Tek's Instagram, that's a pretty cool shot right there. But if you pay attention to Tek's Instagram, he does do a lot of working out, and I believe physical therapy as well, and staying healthy and fit like that. Because mind you, many of you believe that rapping or even pulling off a show like this is only for 20-something-year-olds. Go ahead and Google how old you see N9ne is the time you see this video. I don't want to say a number and then, date him, but I want it to really, really be a reality for you when you see the number, the date of his age, and really understand how much work went in to become that person. And then you can really appreciate what people are doing out here as far as, performing for hundreds of thousands of people or selling millions of records and things like that. So in order to pull that off, like I said, you have to be healthy at that age, and you have to be able to rap. You got to be able to think. You got to keep your mind fresh. You got to be able to breathe clean air, eat good food, make the right decisions. When you get up in the morning, what are you thinking about? What are you doing? Are you doing your push-ups? Are you meditating? Is your mind clustered and confused and things like that? Or are you focused? And if you are focused, are you able to complete the task now? What are you focused on? Some people get really focused in the studio and they only can focus on smoking weed, or they get in the studio and they can only focus on the girls or what it's going to be like when the record drop, and not really understanding that the skill set is what you need to be focusing on. So this was N9ne at the Smokefest in 2023. My name is DameSmiff. And I'm going to be doing this as a unique series to me because this has always been interesting to me, because when I go to concerts, honestly, I don't really listen to the music. Yeah, I know. As a musician, I don't listen to the music. I hear it and I feel it and all that stuff. But what I'm really breaking down a lot of the times is how I can compete, one, and then two, how people are expressing themselves artistically, and then three, how is this functioning as a business within the music business? Because you would look at this as a fan and just think you just saw a dude who basically just, raps his life over some music. But what I really saw was probably a good maybe 30 years, 40 years of expertise, probably hundreds when you combine all the other people's pairs of hands, from the roadies, the managers, the accountants, the people designing logos, people making t-shirts, the shipping the t-shirts and merch and all that stuff to make this name work that we call N9ne. So put it in perspective when you want to make your next song, and make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe, and I'm out.